News Sports. Going over the Big Ten today, otherwise known as the Big 14. I say otherwise known because there are 14 teams in the Big Ten. Well, the thing is that I think we're going to see a little bit of a repeat from last year. And when you look at all the teams in the Big Ten, all the way from Illinois to Ohio State, what you have is a bunch of teams who are good enough to make a bowl game, teams that are bottom of the barrel, and then teams that are just outright better than everybody else. Let's do a little comparison here. So the East and the West have a very similar overall win percentage. Okay, it is East with 7.1 wins overall, and the West with 7.2 wins overall. So really, the West overall, better team. And I kind of screwed up on this one, but the East has 4.5 conference wins on average last year, and the West has 4.4 conference wins. It says wins overall, but it is conference wins. So now, points for which division is better? The East and the West are both 364.7, 367.8 in the East and the West, so very similar. The reason for this is because the East has the better teams and the better talent overall, but the East also has the more worst bottom of the barrel teams than the West. The West is a little more even across the board, and the East, there's a bigger difference. Players to watch. So I just picked 3 on offense and 3 on defense. This is very debatable because there are other offensive players and other defensive players that are really good in the Big Ten. And instead of just filling the board, this is what I got. So Shea Patterson, quarterback for Michigan. Those are his stats from last year, 2,600 yards, pretty good. I think he will be better this year. Jonathan Taylor, man, he could very well be the best in college football this year also, and I think that if he is and he's healthy, look for him to go to the draft. And then Donovan Peoples-Jones from Michigan. So the combination between Shea Patterson and Peoples-Jones is going to be pretty deadly. If you look at defense, that Epinesa on Iowa, I really believe, again, that he could be the best defensive end in all of college football as far as sacks. So again, he's probably going to the draft. And then Chase Young from Ohio State on the line as well, 25 solos last year, 10.5 sacks. And then Patty Fisher had 63 solo tackles last year, only 1 sack, but he is a pass defender and a run stopper kind of guy. He had 4 forced fumbles and he had an interception. So there you have it. Those are your big time players to watch again. Now, instead of doing team breakdown by wins or what have you, I have done a few separate videos on the teams that I think that matter in the East and the West, and you can find those in my channel. I got Michigan winning. I've got them, being the top. I'm not going to put records associated here because that's in my videos, but I got Penn State and Ohio State battling for second and third, and then Michigan State, and then the bottom of the barrel team. So probably the first 4 will end up going to a bowl game. Maybe Maryland. I mean, I don't really see it any other way this year. And then in the West, I have, Northwestern, Wisconsin, Iowa, Nebraska. And again, those 4. So I'm going to assume that 8 teams, maybe 9, will go to a bowl game this year, and I will have Nebraska with all of the hype in the offseason about how great they're going to be because they finished better in the second half last year than they did in the first half. I still don't see them winning. I would actually love to put out a video at the end of the year showing that Scott Frost did the same thing at Nebraska that he did at UCF. I would also like to see Iowa finish in the top 3. And of course, you look at these top 3 teams here between Northwestern, Wisconsin, and Iowa, and truthfully, it could very well end up being Iowa 1, Wisconsin second, Nebraska third, Northwestern fourth. It really could. But based on last year and who's returning and the star power that's on each team, I want to say this is how it's going to end up. And that is my Big Ten 2019 outlook. Again, check out the videos. I've done every Power 5 conference and even a couple other videos in regards to the group of 5 teams and independent teams. With that, later.